And he has finally been caught. Convicted killer and escaped fugitive Danelo Cavalcante arrested today when a canine officer sniffed him out in the Pennsylvania woods. This comes after 2 weeks of him eluding the search. Now, additional charges for the double murderer are pending, with discussions with the District Attorneys General.
All right, Sarah, thank you. Joining us right now to discuss former acting CBP Commissioner Mark Morgan. Mark, your thoughts on this illegal and what he has done and how this all unfolded?
Yeah, first let's talk about the incredible effort from law enforcement. I think it's very important to say that this was a multi-agency effort, and I guarantee you that that credit does not belong to just one law enforcement agency. But having said that, at the end, it was the United States Border Patrol, their Special Elite Tactical Team, BORTAC, and their canine that actually put hands on the suspect. They released the canine. The canine actually made contact with the subject, and that allowed the BORTAC agents, along with the CERT team from Pennsylvania State Police, to go in and actually apprehend them. So job well done. But you mentioned also, this is very important. This gets back to the border. Why was this individual in our country in the first place? Well, because he came here, he was fleeing his home country because he was charged with a murder in his home country, and he was able to illegally enter the United States, where while he was in the United States, he claimed another victim. That's why we say border security is important. And one last thing, Bob, if I can, is right now in the past 30 months, we've experienced 1.6 million total known gotaways. There's an untold number of murderers, rapists, pedophiles, aggravated and felons among the 1.6 million that now call the United States home.
Yeah, Mark, a lot of Americans, I believe, know that the border is a problem, but maybe don't realize how serious of a problem, especially if they don't live in those border states. But we're really seeing here with specifically that Pennsylvania story that the border really now is in everyone's backyards, in some cases, literally.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better myself. That's exactly right. That's why we say a couple of things. One, and you just alluded to it, that every state is a border state. Here's how this works, is that when you have 7.2 million total encounters in 31 months, you pull Border Patrol resources off the front line away from the national security mission. The cartels exploit that. They gain operational control, and that's how they're able to push drugs, criminals, and potential national security threats. But here's what's key. They do not stay in the border communities. Those threats, they go to every state in this country, as you just said, including we have a prime example of someone who illegally entered through Florida, made his way to Pennsylvania, where he took another life, and the story ends up that it does. That's why we say what's happening at our border is not about immigration. What's happening at our border is about border security, which is synonymous with our nation's safety and national security.
All right, Mark Morgan, thank you so much, sir.